discuss to you the three brief forms in lesson 23: the time, question, and general. Said as them. Question represented as K and Sean. General represented as J, E, and N. The outline for over is written above the following shorthand stroke. It is also used as a prefix form. We have three examples for this. First is oversight, represented as O above the following shorthand stroke: S, long I, and T. Overdue, represented as O above the following shorthand stroke: D and O. Overcome, as in O above the following shorthand stroke: K, A, and M. Next is the combined D and F, as in deaf, diff. There are 9 examples that we will discuss to you. First is defy, represented as combined D and F, as in deaf and long I. Defied, as in combined D and F, long I, and D. Defeat, as in combined D and F, E, and T. Define is represented as combined D and F, as in def, long I, and N. Definite is represented as combined D and F, N, E, and T. Defect, as in combined D and F, as in def, K, and T. Differ is represented as D and F, as in diff and R. Different is represented as combined D and F, as in diff, R, E, and combined letters and T. And last is difference is represented as D and F, as in diff, R, E, N, and S. Next stroke is the div and dev. The stroke that represents dev and div also represents div and dev. We have 3 examples that we will discuss to you. First is divide, represented as combined word D and V, as in div, long I, and B. Develop, represented as combined D and V, as in dev, E, L, and P. That is devotion, represented as combined D and V, as in them, O, and Sean. Another stroke is E, A, and I, A. The sounds of A as in create and IA as in piano are represented by a large circle with a dog placed within it. We have here 6 examples. Appropriate, represented as A, P, R, O, P, R, sounds of IA, and T. Piano, represented as P, sounds of IA, N, and O. Area, represented as A, R, and sounds of EA. Create is represented as K, R, sounds of EA, and D. Last is aviation, represented as A, V, sounds of IA, and Sean. In lesson 24, you will have no new shorthand devices to learn. You will have a little time to digest the devices that you studied in the previous lessons. In lesson 24, you will find a new feature, accuracy practice, that will help you improve to your shorthand writing style. This is a recall. The shorthand stroke for R is a short forward curve. The shorthand stroke for L is a longer forward curve, about 3 times longer than R. The shorthand stroke for K is a short forward curve. The shorthand stroke for G is much longer forward curve than K. The shorthand stroke for KR is a smooth combination of K and R. The shorthand stroke for RK is also a smooth combination of R and K. The shorthand stroke for GL is a combined smooth combination of G and L. To write these combinations accurately, make the curves rather flat. Make the combination KR and RK somewhat shorter than the combined length of R and K when written separately. Make the combination GL somewhat shorter than the combined length of G and L when written separately.